Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today I'm going to be doing a little how-to today on how to make my sinking and splitting Titanic model from my last video. So right now I'm just going to start with the bow section. Now I built this out of the Revell 1/570 scale Titanic model kit. You can find them at any local hobby store, or you can find them online. They're not that expensive. Now, I can't tell you about how to build it, but I'm only going into detail about the sinking components. So first thing you want to do is when you get the hull sections together, you'll want to get, I used a handheld rotary tool. I used that to create iceberg damage in the bow. However, it does make a little bit too big of a hole, so what you'll want to do is maybe like heat up an X-Acto knife and make some small holes in it. Inside of it, what you do is you will have to like glue down some coins. I had to glue down a lot, and this purpose is for just keeping the model upright. If it does not have coins inside, it will capsize right away. So this is very important. You will want to add a little bit more coins at the forward end, so that way it will ensure a bow down orientation when it sinks. Then you'll want bulkheads. Bulkheads will control the flow of water when the ship floods. I used just some small pieces of plastic to make the bulkheads, and I hot glued them in. You can also see that there's some weights in there. If you want to, you can put a top on it and put a small hole. This will make it a lot slower when sinking. However, it can be a little unreliable and a lot harder to get inside with this method, so just do it at your own risk. And the most important part of all this is the splitting mechanism. What you'll want to do for this is, what I did was I took some Legos and I glued them in and just made sure that it all lined up perfectly with the inside. Then I made a 4x1 small extension in the back of the bow, which extends to this piece in the stern, which connects the two sides together. When it reaches a certain angle, it will have enough strain to break it in half. So now we're done with the bow section. Now for the stern. For the stern, what you'll want to do is put one bulkhead. That's just my personal preference. You can add however many you want. This is what I did. You'll have to add a little bit of weight inside of it and seal all that up. Then make sure there's some way for air to be sealed inside of the back of the stern, so that way when the whole thing floods, it will sink vertically. If you don't put any weight in there, it will just completely capsize the stern and it will sink. It's completely random if there's no bulkheads or anything. It could sink that way, but it could also sink backwards, so this is a very crucial step. I added a little extra bulkhead back there, which helps seal more air in, so the only way for air to enter water to enter is through that little gap right there. Then it can escape through some small holes in the poop deck. You just simply have to connect it, and then the whole thing will hopefully sink like the real Titanic. Also, one little thing I know a lot of you are going to point out is the location of where I made this thing break. I cut the model in half on the aft expansion joint. This was because I wanted, at the time, for the model to sink and split like it did in the 1997 James Cameron film. However, now you can do this, but if you want, you can make it split right in between the second and third funnels. This will be a much more accurate place for it to break. You may want to have less studs, so the grip will be a little less strong, because if if it has that many, it won't be able to break because it will all be underwater by the time it has enough strain to break, and it won't be able to. So just do this at your own risk. Make it 3 to 2 studs if you are going to make it sink between the second and third funnels. To make it, just to make sure how much weight you will need to put inside, what you'll have to do is just put in some unglued coins with the completely sealed hull, and just add more as time goes on till you finally get an amount that will keep the model upright and have it just be right above the water line. Every part of red should be underneath. So yeah, that's how to make my sinking and splitting Titanic model. Hope you enjoyed.